All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Three of recording scheduled videos for next 75 days. So today we'll talk about India and the important element of Earth, that is water, specifically groundwater, and how is it getting depleted day by day. Okay, so let us just start our video without wasting any time, right? So India is facing a severe groundwater crisis. All right, extraction of the groundwater has risen to over 247 billion cubic meters a year, while recharge is only about 448 BCM, leaving many regions in critical or overexploited status, right? So, if we compare it to the use of the groundwater and the recharge of the groundwater, then we have the difference of sky and land. Therefore, right, we utilize it, in fact, we optimum utilize the groundwater, yet we no comparatively do not recharge it the way it really requires. So what does this cause? This is a over exploitation of our groundwater, right? And in cities like Chennai, right, Bangalore, and few parts of the national capital region, Delhi, they are already experiencing water scarcity due to overuse and erratic rainfall. So that's the introduction, right? Now we'll understand the current groundwater status in India and how we are dependent on groundwater. All right. So, see, the groundwater provides 62% of irrigation, 85% of rural drinking water, and 50 percentage of the urban demand. So you can just imagine how important groundwater is for us, right? For from even layman to the creamy layer to that 1% of the wealthy family utilizes this very groundwater, right? And as I've mentioned, the facts and figures, right? 62%, 82%, and 50%. Those are not small numbers, right? We are largely dependent on it. Now, the problem is its depletion, right? We'll understand the effect, impact, and what are the key drivers, key drivers of groundwater getting depleted. All right. So, as I've said, nearly 90% of the, you know, Earth's liquid fresh water is stored underground, right? It's a fact, right? You all must know. Remember that 99% of the water is in underground water, right? And it is what, this is the very reason our lives, we can sustain our life, right? Through underground water, right? So that is a very significant element of our life, right? There is no ecology without water. So again, but it is getting depleted, right? So that's a very sad thing. Now let us more understand, right, this content, right? How is it getting depleted and what will be the effect and what are government initiative and what should be our way forward towards it, right? Because in life there's problem, right? And there's also a solution, right? So firstly, government must accept it. Let us give that thing for later. For now, let us understand how how this depletion is happening rampantly and rapidly. All right. So first is agricultural overuse. If I talk about India, right, although the tertiary sector contributes most to the GDP, yet agriculture is the main backbone of our economy as well as our country, right? And there's a heavy reliance on groundwater for irrigation, especially in states like Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh, right? They're farmers, right? In fact, in every household you would you would find a huge, acres, biga of land, right? So when they want to grow vegetables, right, the water is must, and in that process they tend to overuse it, right? They tend to overboil it, right? So that's there. And second key drivers is urban demand, rapid urbanization in cities like Bangalore, Delhi, right, Chennai. When person, you know settles in one place, right, those are the basic necessities of life: water, right, food, electricity, right? And this has led to a, you know scarce amount of water, right? So that's there, guys. When there's a high population, right, the resources must also be the same to suffice the need of the population, yet we cannot say it, right? And this is the very reason it is getting depleted. That is the second point. And third point for the depletion of the groundwater is erratic rainfall. As you all know, right, the climate change has disrupted the monsoon patterns, right? Now here what we can see is a very random kind of rainfall. Sometimes days are too hot and sometimes days are too cold, right? It's all because of climate change, right? And most importantly, what this climate change does is it shuffle the whole monsoon pattern, all right, reducing the natural recharge for the groundwater. So that's you guys. And fourth key, factor for depletion of the groundwater is poor regulation, government rules, right? They are very, even though it is for the good of the people, but in ground it remains very vague, right? So one must, you know, the department, right, whosoever is concerned with the groundwater must work honestly, right? And they must show some result in ground, right? For the groundwater to preserve it, right? They must do regular recharge, right? All this kind of things. Those whoever is in this kind of profession, they must be able to understand. But all those things, there must be strict laws, right? So that's there. And yeah, the you know the system itself is very unregulated, all right? So the private bore wells, right, it has increased immeasurably. Again, the government must have check on all these things, right? They must check neck to neck, right, where these things are happening. Private bore wells are, you know eating a lot of groundwater, right? And here I'm not talking about one family, two family, but with rapid urbanization, right, all these things happen. So that's there. And last and most important point for the depletion of our groundwater is industrial use, industrial heavy use, all right? Industries consume large volumes without adequate recycling of the water. So that was all the key drivers for the depletion of the groundwater. All right, guys. I hope I'm clear with this thing, right? So what are the key drivers of the depletion? Hope I'm making sense to you, and I hope you guys are with me. Now, next is, after all these things have happened, what are the impact, right? What will we as a layman face, right? What will our country face? So let us understand these things systematically, right? So first point is water scarcity in cities. As I've mentioned, cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, right? They have already faced day zero, like scenarios where the water is you know at a you know at a strata where it is almost equivalent to petrol, right? Even in, forget about the plants, even in Darjeeling, right? We have to buy a lot of water, right? For our drinking purposes, right? For our, day-to-day basic course, right? So all those kind of things, guys. Even in Darjeeling, in hills, we can say it, right? Then just think about plains, right? So that is the first problem, right? Water scarcity, right? There will be water scarcity across the whole country, right? And second point, for what if if there is a lot of groundwater depletion, second point would be agricultural stress. Farmers will face declining yields, as well as all their wells will dry up real quick without the groundwater. So that's the second point. And as you all know, right, agriculture thing contributes a lot to our economy, right? So by that, our economy will also fall drastically, right? So just imagine the intensity, right? How the water plays a role in shaping the country's economy. So third impact is, that was the second impact, and third impact is ecological damage. As I have even mentioned in as I've mentioned to you guys, that without water there is no ecology, right? And with depletion of water there is a huge damage to ecology. Falling water tables harms wetland, right? Rivers, and for that matter whole diversity. So that's there. And fourth point is health risks, right? Water, right? Even one individual must stay hydrated, right, in order to stay fit, right, in order to so that his or her body do not malfunction. So water is must even for one individual, right? So therefore, without water, right, they would rise a high health risks, right, leading to a lot of diseases, or severe some sort of problem, health issues like fluoride, right, arsenic, so all those kind of things. And yeah, guys, that's all for the impacts. And let us look for the government initiative. Let us just look at the few government initiative for the depletion of the groundwater, what they have done, right? So first is Atal Bhujal Yojana, and it is a community-led groundwater management. Next initiative is Jal Shakti Abhiyan, right? It focuses on rainwater harvesting, and we can see it heavily on the states like Rajasthan, all right. And third is Mission Amrit Sarovar, and it is reviving the traditional method of preserving the water bodies. That's there. And lastly is the government monitoring network. There is 43,238 groundwater station and 53,264 water quality monitoring setups, right? So those are the things, those are the few schemes, policy, that the government have done for the depletion of groundwater. Now let us just look at the way forward, right? How can we preserve it, right? Because from this video, if you've been watching from the beginning, you all might have you know realized the importance of our water, right? For that matter, groundwater. Now, how shall we preserve it? What should be our way forward, right? So, the first way forward is strict regulation of bore wells and extraction limits, right? We can see, right, due to urbanization, right, due to the migration from rural to urban, right, especially from hills to plains or from plains to plains, right, what do? They dig up and they bore the wells, right? And with this, there is a lot of extraction, right? That too unregulated extraction, right? So there, the government must set a adequate limit, right, where uh, wherein they see all the, they check, what are the basic, things that is, in a nutshell, that do not harm, that do not cause damage as much as, this traditional borewells, private borewells are doing. I hope you guys are getting me. And the second way forward should be scaling up rainwater harvesting and aquifer recharging projects, right? There must be more of recharging projects, right? In order to, preserve the groundwater that's there. And third way forward for, saving the groundwater must be crop diversification, right? Away from water intensive crops like paddy and sugarcane. Although I'm not from, although I don't have much knowledge about it, yet there must be crop diversification, all right. And fourth point is urban water recycling and reuse. It's very important. Like basic thing what we can do is the water which we use to wash the, cloth, right? We can just store it and we can use it in, some sort of, in, you know we can give it to a flower, right? And we can also just flush or, washroom, or for that matter come out, right? So for latrine we can reuse the water, right, which we have it used for our washing the cloth. So that's there. And last last way forward for saving the groundwater is community led water governance to ensure equitable access to all. So that's there, guys, for today's video. Although I'm not sure how much, was I able to communicate as the content which is in front of me, right, is one, which is good and it has been well researched. बिना worry यार. ठीक है guys, time to end the video. May God bless all of you and all your efforts. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.